have something to bring to the table, not for our benefit, but for the benefit of the citizens of this country. This is the kind of talks that I want to see these people propelling, not conditions saying, if you, Ruto, you can't do this, then we are going back to the streets. That is not a conversation that is going to yield results, but it's a conversation that is going to polarize our country. It's going to say, Ruto is going to say, I am the president, I am the boss, and I'm going to show you that I have the power, I have the mantle, and I won the elections, and you can do nothing. If you go to the podiums and continue abusing the president, what do you expect? Is going to do completely the opposite of what you're asking him to do. So I think the new people need to tone down their insults and bring the reconciliatory tone where they are going to tell Ruto, yes, you are the president, and not call Ruto selectively the president. If you remember Orengo, when Ruto went to Siaya, Orengo called Ruto 15 times. He called him Your Excellency 15 times. But now, when he gets out of that forum, he doesn't recognize him as the president. What kind of selective application of recognition is that? This is the double standard of our neo people. We need to call them out. When Ruto is giving them development, they call him Your Excellency. When Ruto is not doing what they want, then they call him illegitimate president. And this is not for the benefit of the people as a whole or as our country. Somehow you can't polarize the country when it's not working for you. But when it's working for you, you praise and chant the praises of one William Samoei Ruto. We should criticize him when need be, and give him credit when need be, and not just selectively apply when to praise him. Thank you.
Well,
Okay, please.
okay, go ahead, Stella. Go ahead.
Okay. Mise, you said something about Azimio issue, like they should tone down. Remember, they are getting the heat from KK Kenya Kwisha. I don't know why I'm calling them KK Security. Kenya Kwisha. Me, my issue is here. I have no problem with Azimio. I'm having the problem with Kenya Kwisha. Why do they? My question is having this bipartisan talk, is it convenient or not, or we just do that? It's business as usual as Kenyans. Because you see, it is so annoying that Kenya Kwanza, they are not willing to listen, and they are not willing to sit at one table with Azimio. That is what is killing me. If they just need to listen, sit down and ask Azimio, what exactly do you want out of the three? Okay, then they say they want to deal about the cost of living. Remember, cost of living is not about food. We are talking about the huge taxes which they are being implied to us. And remember, Mzalendo, when I told you, like in the month of July, everybody was shocked seeing that whatever they were being taxed, it was too much. Businesses have closed down. They've gone to our neighboring countries. People are not even doing business as usual, because right now, even the shilling which you are trying to save, you are having issue even doing the small savings which you have to do. The dollar has gone so much, like now, right now, it is to 150. Less than 2 months. You ask yourself. The thing is, it's Azimio, KK Security, to sit down with Azimio. Azimio, they say, okay, fine. Let's look on the taxes. Taxes for this issue of housing fund. Let's not tax this. Let's wait to the next regime. It is not hard to ask for taxes to be reduced. It is not hard for taxes to be pushed over. We are not going to die because we don't have the houses. Okay, then we need something like our medical covers, our taxes about our pay, taxes about what do you call NHIF and NSSF. They are giving us so much, which even you look at your payslip, you're getting tired. You're forced even to reduce you cannot leave the comfort what you had a year ago. That is what Azimio are asking. Just come and sit down. Tell us what you can do and what Mwananchi is expected to hear from your government. And us will know what to do. Look at something like fuel. Right now, fuel has gone up, and every 14th, I think 14 is going to be on Monday. Every 14th, there is a fuel increase. There is no way there will be a fuel reduction. Now, our fuel right now is let's say 200. Now, on Monday, we don't know whether it is going to be 200 or 2 or whatever. The thing is, Azimio are just asking for two things. Just reduce the cost of living and reduce the amount of taxes. Kenya Kwanza do not want to listen. So don't blame it to Azimio. The people who are Kenya Kwanza are the ones who have been refusing to go and listening to Azimio. They've been called 4 times. They have refused to go. That is my issue with Kenya Kwanza. Azimio, I have no problem. I know they are trying to look after Wanjiko. And these are the people. And
Stella, let me ask you a question before you go further.
yeah.
Is it the work of the opposition to advise the government of the day?
No, it's not the government to be the opposition to advise. The thing is, once this thing as well, whatever Kenya Rebel was saying, it can go back to court. Then we start again. You get? So the appeal which Omokia Omotata, which was meant to be listened, I think on Thursday of this week, which is going to be, I think, on 17th. Now, if the 3-man bench, they would listen to that appeal, they can decide what taxes can be reduced, or we go back again. They dismiss it again, we go back to the drawing board. Because anything in that finance bill, everything was false. If 99% of Kenyans said, finance bill ni mbaya, even a child knows finance bill ni mbaya, because haikuwa na public participation, they lied to us. So even that ruling was delivered with lies. So us Kenyans were like, it is okay, fine, you want taxes, but we cannot pay everything. You remove some, other ones you can move it to the next regime. If in case if you win in the next whatever election. But the thing is, overburdening us, it is not going to solve anything. Let me tell you, there is wastage from day one to even the last day. The other time when we were reading the newspaper, we lost almost like 6 billion. Leave those days when Uhuru was saying that people are losing 2 billion every day. This is 6 billion. You ask yourself why that 6 billion is getting lost, and yet they're still collecting taxes. We are not seeing any development. We've not seen any improvement in counties. Everybody, hakuna hospitali. Oh, these are schools, teachers have not been paid. Ask yourself, all these taxes munaokota, na mmeshinda mkiokota hii pesa, imeenda wapi? There's
Stella,
something wrong with KK.
I have a question
They
for
have
Stella.
refused to listen Azimio, and Azimio is Wanjiko. And I believe all the Wanjikos now, even the Mount Kenya, they've decided now to move with Azimio. But now, like right now, if Ruto was going to Mount Kenya, he felt that he's losing ground because he knows his supporters from Mount Kenya are going to Azimio. So why was he going there? Just to show his relevance. Niko hapa, tutawasaidia, hakuna kitu alienda kufanya. So do not convince me that KK is doing anything. Azimio, I believe they are doing the best they could. And they are more patriotic than KK. Oh my God, KK.
you keep on guys calling Kenya Kwanza Security Company. I mean, I think you are doing it deliberately. And, and Stella,
I am
please.
annoyed.
No, you are doing it deliberately.
Nick,
You
I have a
said
question
it
for Stella.
100 times. Kenya Kwanza.
Okay, Kenya
security guard.
I have a question for Stella.
Yeah.
Nick, Stella.
Yes.
You are saying that Azimio, Kenya Kwanza are not listening to Azimio. Could it be that Azimio are not asking the right questions?
No. Azimio are asking the right question.
For example, let me ask you, you've mentioned about collection of revenue, taxes,
Yes.
and so on. They are burdening people. Do you think there is anything wrong for the government to collect taxes?
There is no problem collecting taxes. It is what was imposed to us. It was too much and it's overburdening us. We have not refused to pay taxes. The thing is, these taxes have been exaggerated where even us, we are unable even to live hand to mouth. There are people, let me tell you, I can give you an example. If something like unga ya ugali, na hiyo ndio ilikuwanga first aid kit ya Kenyans, every house was eating ugali. Right now, each house cannot even afford to buy 2 packets of ugali. Because why? Taxes have been imposed in everything from iyo karatasi, how that shift pinakuja, millers wameimpose your taxes. It is extended back to the consumer. If those taxes were not been there, we could have survived with that 300 shillings a day, where Wanjiko gets it akienda kwa mjengo. Yes,
Let me say something before.
Kenya Rebel.
Yeah, you're going to say, this is what I want to tell you when I asked you these questions. I think when Azmio are coming to the table, they should ask the right questions.
But they've been asking the right questions.
The fundamental question they should ask is, how do we combat corruption?
Corruption is there.
Because corruption is
there.
How do we, because we are not asking the right questions. We are not asking the government how to fight corruption. Because if we fight corruption and we manage to minimize it, it means our revenue, if the money that is collected will be used as intended, then we will see the progress. But because corruption is very rampant and no one, neither Kenya Kwanza, neither Azimio is willing to discuss about how they can fight corruption uniformly or as a team, that is why we are not asking the right question. The second thing is there is an issue of election after election period, the stealing of election. Instead of talking about how we can fix IEBC now, so that in our general election, in the next general election, we don't have a repeat of what Azmio is imagining happen. We are telling the government to open the servers. Is that not irrelevant discussion right now?
No problem. The thing is, what you're saying, that Azimio are not asking the right question. I will dispute with you. They've been asking this same question on the floor of the parliament. They've been asking the same question at the Senate. The thing is, KK, Kwenyakwisha are not being responsive. They are not being responsive. The other day, there was the issue about power being increased like 10 times more than whatever we buy from our local Kenyan. Azimio asked a question to the Kenya Kwanza. If you knew that these IPPs are bringing power here and they are producing power and they are selling at this amount, give us the names of the people of that company who, they were trying to do transparency. What did Kenya Kwanza do? They hid those directors. And 2 of the directors are the Kenya Kwanza people. And they are very strongholds of Ruto. The thing is, if Azimio had won, corruption cannot go. It will be there. The thing is, Kenya Kwanza have asked Azimio have asked the right questions. Number 1, why can you not reduce the cost of living? No one is coming with a transparent answer. Number 2, asking about the IBC issue and about how to re-strategize how the IBC committee will be. That is the business of another day. Right now, what Kenyans want to know, it's like, how is our lives going to be better after 2023? No one is giving a definite answer. The issue of IBC, let it be discussed. There are some professional bodies which they can come and give out their presentation, how they can avoid this thing not to happen like the one which has been happening in 2007 and 2017. But now the definite thing where the Kenya Kwanza are not answering Azimio, it is how they are going to reduce the cost of living. And what is happening where people are having professional bodies, they are coming into government, they are being given money which they cannot account for. So that is the work of the Public Account Committee. They've never responded back. So that's where the money disappears. So we cannot discuss about corruption now. Even as Azimio had entered today, still there will be corruption. The thing is, we want to have transparency. And this is the thing Kenya Kwanza are not giving the people.
Oh, Stella, I just wanted to tell you this. You asked that when you say the Kenya Kwanza not willing to sit down with Azimio, or they don't want to sit down with Azimio to discuss this. Actually, there's a place where they can sit and talk about this. It's called the Parliament or the Senate. They can discuss that. That's where the talks are supposed to be happening about, you know, cost of living and all that stuff. They don't need to find a commission outside of the Parliament. That's why I'm telling you, Azimio politicians are also letting you down. For example, I'll tell you why. Remember, I agree with you. I agree with you on the finance bill. I am still against this finance bill because they're levying heavy taxes on common mwananchi, and already maisha ni ngumu. So the problem is this: when it was the time to vote for this finance bill on the Parliament, where were the Azimio MPs that were supposed to vote down this thing? 89 of them absconded. They didn't even show up. Okay, instead of showing up, gathering around with persuading your friends in the MPs in the legislative body in the Parliament to vote against this finance bill, the Azimio folks didn't show up, including, I think was Babu Owino was one of them too. So what I'm trying to say is this: it is not only Kenya Kwanza that are letting us down, it is also Azimio. They are not pro Anjiku. Of course, right now they are outside the government. They're not in powers per se, the executive. That's why they are trying to use this issue of cost of living to get votes. But in my opinion, again, it's my opinion. You might disagree with it. I think Azimio are also not, because remember, even when they were going to these talks, they had to be reminded by the people. Once people in the Twitter started writing, "Hey, why are you guys going to talk about all this I don't know, office of the president, I don't know what. Why is cost of living the number one issue on the Ninio?" Remember that? So after that is when Azimio started writing, "Hey, okay, we are including cost of living, whatever." So that's a good example of telling you that these politicians and they pretend that they care about what the common mwananchi want, but they don't. That's why I agree with Misa in this sense that we, the people who are in the ground, wananchi, we should actually look at the laws about recalling these representatives, our wanasiasa, these MPs. Make it an easier way, because right now I think the laws in place says that you cannot recall these MPs 24 months after they have been elected and 12 months before the next election. So basically you have one year window where you can recall them. So they make it so hard for them to be recalled. So these are the kind of laws that we need to change, where if your MP is not working for you, your representative, go there and tell him, and hey, you know what? If you're not going to the parliament to talk about cost of living, tunakutoa. None. So the problem is not only Kenya Kwanza, it's also Azimio. These people are not hawatupiganii. Sahii wanataka tu hiyo kiti, hata hao pia wanataka kiti, hapo ndio sawa wanajifanya ati hey, let's go talk in these talks. These talks are going nowhere unless I don't know, maybe you have inside information, but mi naona hii kitu haiendi, and they're not discussing the things that we need. How is restructuring IEBC, like you, in fact, Stella, you made a good point. You said, how is this IEBC issue going to help us na bei ya mafuta iko juu? Unaona? And these are the things they're going to spend I don't know how many days discussing. at our expense. So you made a good point there. But all in all, I'm saying all these politicians on both sides are not helping us, the things that they're talking about.
Well, well said, Kenya Rebel. Stella, you know, you need to jog your mind backwards, and you will find one Azimio leader said that the war in Ukraine is the one that is bringing the high cost of living. If you walk, I will play for you the clip very soon. And Stella, you are saying something. Unmute your mic.
Do not try and use that narrative to guilt trip us Kenyans, Wanjiko. You cannot tell me, no. You're guilt tripping me, Wanjiko, that telling me about Ukraine. Let me tell you. So if it is a Ukraine war, so how come that our neighbors in Tanzania, in UG, in Ethiopia, they are enjoying their lives? Why is Kenya?
All right, let me answer.
And that is a good question, Stella.
That is a good question. That is, and Kenya Rebel answered you. Kenya Rebel answered you and told you, if Parliament is not doing its work.
No, I am not going to allow it. And there was an investigation which was already done, and there was some lobby group. They went and saw that Ukraine, yes, it had war. Remember, Ukraine is big. So where it was affected, it was not on the industrial part. Ni huko mashinani. Kama unaishi huko mashinani.
Ndio Stella, lakini
hawezi niambia ni Ukraine.
Hatusemi ni Ukraine, hata sisi we are on tuko side moja na wewe.
You use the guilt trip telling me it is a Ukraine war. Ukraine has its own war. South Africans are getting the fertilizer. We are getting fertilizer. Tanzania is getting fertilizer. UG is getting fertilizer. Ethiopia, they are getting fertilizer. Why is our matter, which is so different, we should use that one to guilt trip Wanjiko? Listen to me and listen to me. There was an issue where that Ukraine, they had already given us, what do you call it? Like they had given us a donation of 2,000 metric tons of fertilizer. Listen to me. Free of charge. Na ikakuja na meli. A corrupt politician akaenda akaprint ngunia. Aka repackage nini fertilizer akaziuza 6,500. Ruto alisahau is a farmer, isn't it? Ruto akakuja akanotice ile mneni DAP na CAN zenye alikuwa anatumia kwa shamba, it has become too expensive and he cannot get profit from his product. What did he do? He went to the State House, called all journalists, akaongea juu ya fertilizer, irreduce equal 2,500. Then you're coming telling me here it is a Ukraine war. Let's not joke with that story.
No, Stella.
No.
Stella, we are upset. We are upset in the same velocity as you. That when Nick started saying, he said, "Let jog your mind." What did he say? What did he mean?
He said,
you go down,
I go back and jog my mind about the Ukraine.
No, that's not what he said. During the Kenyatta time, the question of cost of living arose. It was one Raila Amolo Odinga who said, listen, we listened to you. You told us about Ruto.
Okay, no problem.
Let us also tell you what Raila said in respect to the cost of living. It was during Kenyatta's time. Then Raila said, watu wanapweka kama umbwa, at the cost of living has gone high. The cost of living is a global challenge because of the war of Ukraine. And that is what exactly he said. And the same way you are upset is the same way we are upset. Why is he fooling us when in the last regime, he said the cost of living had gone high because of the war of Ukraine? What changed now when Ruto came into power? That is the question.
Let me add that Raila Amolo Odinga whipped his MPs to pass the 16% VAT. during Uhuru Kenyatta's handshake regime. And they accepted the increase of fuel. They accepted. It is Uhuru Kenyatta, listen, it is Uhuru Kenyatta who reduced VAT to 8%. That's why I'm still jogging your mind to tell you that these politicians are just playing around with you.
So you cannot come and tell me that at Uhuru reduced to 8%. It is this power of the people. As Kenyans, tukaenda mpaka Kenya on Twitter, tulisema mafuta ikipanda, we are downing our tools. Doctors will down their tools, nurses will down their tools, teachers will down their tools. Uhuru was given that pressure by 190 on Kenya on Twitter. He had to go back and told the guys, I'm not going to sign this bill. Mpaka murudi back. Then he was told, the only time when we can reduce this amount, it is half of that amount, which is supposed to be 8%. Uhuru went with the pressure ya Wakenya. Na yeye akasaini hiyo kitu. If Uhuru alikataa kusign bill, mbona Ruto hangesign? Si angekosa kusaini ya finance bill. So usini guilt trip. Alafu umeongea history ya Ukraine. Yes, Ukraine kulikuwa na vita, lakini ilikuwa the entire year. Haikuwa the entire year. So you people, you should understand. Ukraine hata kama ilikuwa na war. So what are you getting from Ukraine? Don't tell me.
Stella, vita ya Ukraine na Russia bado inaendelea.
Kidogo. I know venye ship inaendaga. So what are we getting from Ukraine in Africa? And don't say oil. Tell us. Mzalendo, I'm listening to you. I'm waiting for you to respond.
We get a lot of grains from Russia.
No, what are we getting from Ukraine?
Do you know what we get from Russia?
Yeah, I know what we get from Russia.
So
what are we getting from Ukraine and Russia? No, what were we getting from Ukraine?
You know, this is what happens when there is a war in a country. The transportation of grains, things like fertilizer, you see, those things are delayed. Whether they are donations or not, they are delayed. The mode of transport of fuel inakuja na meli. So the route the oil marketers choose, they avoid the path of war. That is why that is what brings the cost of fuel high, because there are so many factors. There are so many factors apart from middlemen, apart from the war.
Energy bill nitakwambia. Mafuta Kenya, it is more expensive than Uganda.
Unajua,
it's more expensive than
skiza, wacha nikupatie nisikia tu dakika moja tu pia wewe. Wewe pia sikia tu dakika moja.
Nakusikia.
Kuna kama wewe ni mfanyabiashara, kama wewe vile unakuwa mfanyabiashara. Kuna umetoka unataka kupeleka kitu Uganda. Na kuna vita pale Eldoret. Kuna vita kali sana pale Eldoret. Na umezoea kupeleka mahindi yako Uganda na hiyo barabara Uganda Eldoret Road. Umezoea kupeleka mahindi yako pale ya Kampala kupitia kwenda Kampala. You have to now seek an alternative route. Hii mahindi yako vile ulikuwa unapeleka, kama ilikuwa ni 6,000 ama 10,000 ikifika Kampala, lazima uongeze bei ndio, kwa sababu umepitia Tanzania ndio ufike kule Uganda. Najaribu kukuelezea vile bei ya mafuta inafanya. Bei ya mafuta iko hivyo. Yeah, so ukiona saa zingine kama kuna vita mahali, na pia kuna kitu inaitwa hoarding. Watu pia take advantage of the war. Kama hao the oil producing countries, they know that Africa is struggling and they need this product. So let us hold it. Tuone bei ya dola ikipanda juu ndio tuanze kuuza. Ni biashara. People are doing business. They are in business. So as much as you are uncomfortable, the other people gaining from the war. War is business. So it will affect people like countries like Kenya, other countries that don't have the product, and they depend on other countries as a transit point for oil.
Can I say something very quick?
Muzalendo,
Yeah.
come back home. Let's leave a black story. Me, I want to. We start from Mombasa. When that ship inamwaga mafuta hapo nini refinery, hapo ndio tunataka kuargue na wewe. Kenya Rebel, you can continue.
Hii meli imepitia wapi ndio ikuje mpaka
Imepitia Baltic Sea. Hakuna shida.
Mzalendo.
Imepitia Baltic Sea. Mimi
Mzalendo.
nitajaribu kukunini. Mimi, I'm telling you, you come home. Wachana na Baltic Sea, umetoka Indian Ocean, umeshafika Mombasa. Now I want we calculate your pesa. You tell me scientifically ama economically why Kenyan mafuta is more expensive than Uganda and Tanzania. And lesson with 12 shillings. I need to understand the mathematics of that.
Kenya Rebel tried to explain to you in a bit. He told you your representatives in parliament are not asking the right questions. You know, when it comes to when it comes to the cost of living, it is just a bill in parliament that can be bipartisan. You force a bill in parliament that can reduce the cost of unga, that can reduce the cost of mafuta to a certain degree. If it is passed in parliament, it becomes law.
What I wanted to say is, on both sides, Ruto and Kenyatta, the reason ati bei ya mafuta sijui ilienda juu kwa sababu ya vita Russia, it's a poor excuse.
Thank you.
On both of them, it's a poor excuse. Russia fighting with Ukraine. Actually, Russia were being sanctioned by the US. Russia is an oil-producing country. So the sanctions was basically making Germany, Poland, most of these, Spain, they were being prohibited from buying gas from Russia. But Russia was still selling that mafuta to India, China, you know. So that really has nothing to do with Kenya, you know.
Thank you.
Ruto and Uhuru are using that as an excuse. If you listen closely, and I usually tell people this, that the reason why, part of the reason why is because these leaders are puppets. Nania Cherigel was talking on Spice FM, and he said that IMF recommended to them, the government of Kenya, that they should not subsidize mafuta, bei ya mafuta, na bei ya chakula. You see? Because the food is there. The government, all they have to do to bring the cost of living down is subsidize mafuta. Sema, okay, instead of us paying 8%, tutaileta chini, government, we shall buy it and sell it to people like for, you know, whatever, cheap.
The oil marketers.
Exactly, thank you. So that can be done, but it's not being done because Kenya has to be, tumeshikwa na IMF namna hii. Both this government, na the government ya Uhuru pia. Why? Because we owe IMF a lot of money. That's part of things that happen when you owe IMF money. That's why that's why you see the person who was in military leader of Niger. Aliingia akasema IMF, the first thing he did was kick out IMF. Akasema tutaki pesa yenu, we don't want to have hiyo shida yenu, okay? So hii mambo ya cost of living, Ruto can do something about it now,
it
today.
Can be done.
Today.
It can be done.
Today.
And these people, they are trying to tell me it cannot be done. This is the thing.
No, I think
your camera. Mzalendo, your camera.
Okay, Misa naona Misa anataka kuongea. Misa endelea.
Hapana, wacha hata before Misa aongee. Nataka kuambia Misa na Mzalendo, mafuta yetu inaweza kuwa reduced on two things. Vitu zitolewe. There is something inaitagwa bill of landing. I don't understand why you're giving the bill of landing. Hiyo mafuta inakujaga na meli. Na out of that hiyo mafuta, taxpayers money itakuja ilipe hiyo mafuta iingie. Any oil marketer mwenye anatakiwa alete hiyo mafuta, he's supposed to carry the burden of exercise duty. I don't understand why me as a person who's driving the car, ninalipa exercise duty ya 18 shillings. It does not make any sense. So the cost of living can be reduced starting with fuel. Number two, the cost of living inaweza kuwa reduced na story ya stima. they decide kama watakupatia watu token, they should remove those nonsense ziko katikati. Kama unanunua token ya 500, you need to have at least 100 units and above. But the thing is, every time when you buy a token, everything in a 1 unit, 1 unit. That's why you're seeing factories are going now on green energy. Now, green energy imetuma Kenya Power ikue broke because hawezi uza stima in bulk, because people walikuwa nasema, listen, mimi as long as ninunue solar panels na kuko na jua and I can get wind, I can able to produce my own power. The thing is, the cost of living can be done, and it is very possible to be done, because we don't need a hungry nation. If you have a hungry nation, how do you collect taxes? Watu watakuwa wamesha kufa juu ya njaa. Mzalendo fungue hiyo kamera juu ninakuona unajificha hapo.
But Stella, Kenya Rebel, I just wanted to correct something before Stella gives you a lot of praises, because we were just you, Stella, myself, Mzalendo, and you are all agreeing that the excuse the government of government of Uhuru Muigai and Raila gave about the hiking of the cost of living was not, it didn't make sense. You know, we all agree with that. But it was the same Raila who told the Kenyan citizen that wanapeka kama umbwa and the cost of living is high all over the world. Okay?
Don't use that excuse again.
We are telling him
that thing
today,
is irritating me and the Wanjigo and the
Stella,
others.
listen. We are telling Raila Amolo Odinga he should not be double standard. He should have faced the reality that the war in Ukraine had nothing to do with us. And if it had something to do with the global, because Ukraine and Russia do not just supply oil to Kenya alone, it does to other countries. And if that was the impact, that impact would have been felt all over. The other thing that you guys have talked about, the cost of living. The cost of living is high everywhere, even in North America. The cost of living iko juu. But to me, the way I'm looking at it, the difference is, if you're in North America, the cost of living si ati imerudi chini, iko juu. Lakini the difference is, you have an alternative that unaweza amka upate kazi ufanye, watoe hiyo pesa yao yenye wanatoa, kama ni taxes ziko juu wakate, but bado utabaki na kitu ya kula na utapata kazi ya kwenda. Then that's why I'm asking, why isn't our government creating jobs? Why isn't our government looking for ways to fight corruption, so that ile pesa yote ina generate can be pumped into more jobs, and everyone will get something and will be in a position to afford to pay for taxes and other cost of living. So to me, I'm looking at corruption as the greatest impediment of development in our country, and no one is willing to talk about it.
No problem. I understand that the issue of corruption is there. Me, the issue is, it's the leaders who we have here. Now, if you people, you can remember, during the past regime for Uhuru and Raila, kulikuwa na historia the dollar. So the dollar ilikuwa inachezanga between 120, 125, 120, 125. For those 3 years, ilikuwa inacheza hivyo. Now, wakati tumekuja kwa regime ya Ruto, I think the dollar started disappearing the time after, I think it was November, when the central bank walisema that there is a scarcity of dollars in Kenya, and that's why we are unable to get importation. I remember there's a time when there was a big crisis of getting even mafuta ya kupika, this cooking oil. This cooking oil, kumbe kulikuwa na watu wana hold dollars. And the people who are holding dollars ni hao watu wanaitwa KNTC, Kenya National Trading Corporation. They were told by a certain politician, musirelease your pesa mpaka niwaambie. Now, what was so surprisingly, Moses Kuria and his other people brought that mafuta without duty free. They did not pay even the taxes. We lost about 6.2 billion. Now, the thing is, this Kenya Kwanza issue, me inanikula kwa sababu, for one, they are the ones who increased the cost of living. They added unnecessary taxes. These unnecessary taxes, we cannot even have investors kukuja huku to invest, because we have our tax laws are very harsh. They are very harsh. Even you can see right now, we have 4 factories, surprisingly, this year, hata mwaka ijaisha, they've closed. Wengine wameenda UG, wengine wameenda Tanzania, na wengine wameenda Ethiopia. Kazi yao tu watakuwa wanafanyanga production, hapa ni packaging. Why our tax laws are so rampant, even no one can operate business. Number 2, I remember there's a time when we had spoken with Mzalendo about having these companies being revived. Everybody was against me. If people like Mumias, and they were the ones or the guys who are the largest taxpayers, to date, your company, it is a skeleton. We had Pan Paper, we had Kikomi, we had Kenya Nuts Industry, we had even some EPZ in Machakos. Those EPZ zimefungwa. Now they were supported by AGOA. So there is something wrong with Kenya Kwanza. Either wanataka kukula, like the way Gedongo alikuwa anasema, it is their time to eat, alafu watu wache bila kitu. But sisi Wanjiko, there is one thing kenye tunaogopa. When you air your business, you go and air, you go and tell them, you go and advise the guys at the government, because of most of the time ukiangalia kwa gazeti, expression of interest, giving us implementation, how to subsidize XYZ. Those things we write 220 pages, no one listens to us. So there's something wrong with Kenya Kwanza. And that is what I'm trying to say, that Kenya Kwanza, the only way they can make a Wanjiko to be happy, reduce those taxes. And listen, me, in fact, I don't want them to listen to me or listen to whatever. It is Ruto to listen watu kwa ground. Asikie Kenya inafanyika. That is the only thing I can say.
Mzalendo, I want to excuse myself, but Stella, I think that is a very good concern. I just wanted to make a few.
Mzalendo ametoroka, si amekataa kujibu swali zenye nilikuwa
hapa sasa.
Mimi niko na wewe baka, niko na wewe. Niko na wewe, ni ile tu.
Acha hiyo Ukraine unaiongea. Nataka tukae hapa chini tuhesabu pesa ya mafuta.
Yeah. So
wacha tuone
mafuta yetu yezi kuwa inaenda, so
wacha tuone
we can pay for our fuel is 150.
So
and this is V-Power.
Yeah. No, me, I want to leave because I have other engagements, but I just wanted to say, Mary, Stella, I've really liked your passion. You know, that people like you and you know, people spend their time to come here and talk about our country. These are the true patriots of our country. Because in one way or the other, we are giving indirectly to our country by highlighting the challenges that and providing suggestions to the solutions of the problems that we are facing. But I just wanted to make one appeal to you, Stella, my brother Mzalendo, that we now need to move away from Kenya Kwanza and Azimio and focus on the issues that affect both of us. Because when we are inclined to one party or to one faction, political faction, then it kind of makes us being biased. We can't see things from a clear lens because we are already compromised to think that the party that I subscribe to is the one that is right. And like Kenya Rebel and yourself, Stella and Mzalendo and Leo, all of us have agreed that our leaders are not sincere to us, and they are playing with us. But at the end of the day, for them, they will meet for a cup of tea. They will share opportunities that we cannot, that we do not have access to. The issue of police necessitating police brutality. These are issues that we have seen that innocent people die, and at the end of the day, nobody takes care of their families, and they are left to languish into poverty and other challenges that accompany the absence of one family member. So, what I'm saying, what we need to try and do is to be sober, and where Ruto is wrong, we call him out. Where Raila is wrong, we call him out. Where other people, the key leaders that we look up to, we should be able to criticize them equally, because of what they are not doing right and what they are doing wrong equally. By so doing, we will have a moving forward country, as opposed to us being divided on the grounds of the parties that we support. I think I just wanted to say that Stella will be. I've really enjoyed listening to you, and I've learned a lot from you. And I'm looking forward to be engaging more with you and the rest of the panelists here. And I want to thank Leo and Mzalendo for creating this time so that we can come here and learn from one another. I want to, unless you have a question for me, I want to excuse myself. But it has been amazing to be here, and I'm looking forward to continue being here, so that I can learn more from you, Leo and Zalendo, because this is a learning process, day in, day out. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mise. We really appreciate your being part of the show, and we hope to see you in the next broadcast. Otherwise, you've been a very resourceful as usual. So next show will be tomorrow. Hopefully, Leo will be. Leo, you're holding. You're playing something. Leo,
Sorry?
you're net. You are
Sorry
playing
for
something.
interruption. I think it was.
Are you playing something? Oh
No,
yeah,
it's there.
now you're better.
I'll play it later.
Oh, now you're better.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Right. Okay, let me just maybe play it for you then. Tunaweza ichangia wakati tunaenda tukifunga. I think it was great having today session, and hoping that tomorrow will be better and the days after tomorrow, and we'll keep it here. So maybe I can just play it for you, then uweze kujibu Stella vizuri.
Yeah,
Na pengine kama tuna maswali tutakurushia.
How is not playing? Kuna shida ama nini? Okay, as it plays on the background. I need to play it from my end.
People going on the streets.
I think you have stable
It's
internet.
the issue of finding a sustainable solution to this problem.
No.
Repeat again.
No, just don't repeat it. Maybe it's playing
Okay,
badly.
it's okay.
What Raila was saying?
Mzalendo, I think you'll play it.
I can play it
You'll
from my
play it
end.
later, but you can just give the message is clear.
Yeah, Raila was saying that people should not demonstrate because of the cost of living. That is what he was saying. That is sometimes when we jog your mind back, that is what our politicians say. But it is not necessary to demonstrate on the cost of living. And especially where we depend on rain rain for our agriculture. Right now, we are having a bumper harvest. The issue, are you hearing the issue of cost of maize again in Kenya? No, the issue has been overtaken by events because we have harvested our maize and people are eating properly in the village and everywhere else in town. So if you didn't go to the farm, Stella, stop nodding your head. Stop nodding your head. It is not the work of the government.
Zalendo, I just want to disagree
head.
with you and support
Yeah.
Stella in this way.
Leo,
We are having bumper
let
harvest.
me answer. Leo, let me answer.
Yes. Okay.
That clip nani amecheza ni ya which year?
Okay. Let me just clarify on the clip.
The clip which you've already shared. Which year was it?
Just a minute, Stella. I'll clarify on the clip.
Please clarify.
Zalendo is not being truthful with the clip. The clip is where Raila is saying
there is one thing. One thing I really need to tell Mzalendo. We are living in a global sphere. Remember, kuko na kitu inaitango global trends. We've been not having continuous rain like the way it was raining 10 to 5 years ago. We are not having the normal pattern rains because of global warming. So, Mzalendo, don't come and tell me a story at kuko na bumper harvest. There is no bumper harvest. I will tell you, watu wanalima wanaepeleka chakula kwa nyumba. Because hiyo mahindi yenye unasema kumekuwa na cartels wana import mahindi from our neighboring Uganda. Shame on us. Our neighboring Sudan, they're the ones who are supplying us with sugar. Our neighboring country Tanzania, they're the ones who are to supply na vitungu, na garlic, na kila kitu. Then we go back, we go to the one of the countries to supply, and it was one of the poorest African countries. It is Malawi. Malawi is supplying us with rice and maize. So, Mzalendo, don't come and tell us here, me as Kenya, as Stella, as a farmer in Rift Valley. My dad has almost like 600 acres. Hakuna mahindi memea hapo. Ninakwambia mahindi hata mimi if I go I harvest. Niene nikausha kwa barabara nipeleke National Cereal Board. Haitanunuliwa. Nitaambia hapana, silo zimejaa. Enda nayo nyumbani. Nitabaki nikipatia nini hiyo mahindi? Nitapatia ng'ombe na nipatie kuku na nipatie kila kitu. So don't come and tell us ati hapa kuko na bumper harvest. 75% ya chakula huku Kenya, all of it inakuwa imported. Mpaka mchele, which is a big shame. And yet we have rice fields at Mwea, where even that rice field in Mwea, it cannot even sustain half of Nairobi because of poor rain patterns. Then it has been so expensive. Even a farmer cannot farm because expensive tools, expensive fertilizers, kuna kuchukua manpower. Mtu ulikuwa unalipanga kwa futi ulikuwa unamlipa 100, siku hizo wanaitishaga 400 ama 500. Because hiyo 100 ukimpe hata hawezi nunua mboga. Lazima aende akule ugali. So don't come and tell me kuko na bumper harvest. Bumper harvest gani? Mahindi saa hii tunajua iko kwa maji inakuja hapa Kenya. And I'm telling you, hiyo mahindi itakuja, millers wataambiwa these are the cost. Nao wachukue wasema ni sawa, instead ianze kuozea huko. Wasiage, then they start distributing to their distributors. Then distributors, they put up their markup. Unga ugali itafika hapo 270. So what are you trying to tell me ati kuko na bumper harvest? Kama kungekuwa na bumper harvest, we could have known a year ago. But right now, hakuna chakula inakuja. We are importing literally everything. Mpaka sukari. Hata ukicheza sana, tuna import mpaka chumvi. So what I'm telling you, Mzalendo, even right now, people like EABL, they've lost 3 billion in profits kwa sababu pombe haikunywi. Kwa nini? Taxes and barley cannot be bought because if the farmers wameambiwa na nani EABL, the way we are buying barley 2 years ago, it is the same cost. What will the farmer do? Atarudi na lori nayo wapi? Narok, aende apatie hiyo barley venye atafanya. Because right now you cannot even do business with government. You cannot do business hata sokoni. Ile nyanya tulikuwa tunanunuaga hivi 5 bob, siku hizi ni 20 bob. Watu wa mkokoteni wameizungusha huku mpaka wanamwaga. Things like viazi huku kasuku enye tulikuwa tunanunuanga 50 bob, sahi ni so mbili. So what are you trying to tell me, mzalendo, that there is a bumper harvest? You must be joking. You should come to Kenya and understand what people are eating in the houses. Nakwambia, people have dropped out kukula ugali, wakule viazi na wakule ndoma, or they miss that meal, wakule chapati, because hata unga ya ngano haina heshima kama ya nini, haina heshima kama ya unga ya mahindi. Yeah, so don't try and tell us that there is a bumper harvest. There has been no rain for the last 3-4 years. Huku nini Kenya kulikuanga na ukame. Yeah? Kama ukame unaweza isikia ikiwa Rift Valley, na mvua hata ikuji na ile pattern yake, it tells you there is something wrong. So don't tell us if here there is a bumper harvest. The thing is, our government misappropriated funds ya kutengeneza dump. Wakati ile mvua ilikuwa inanyesha El Nino, hizo dams zingekuwa zikijaa akina Kimwerel, na hiyo ingine ilikuwa inaitagwa aje, there is that 2 dams which nasikia iko na corruption. Mvua yenye ilikuwa inanyeshanga huko Turkana, wangekuwa wametengeneza dams and wells. Now we are dealing with Golalo Kulalu. Investors walitoroka. Then you're telling me kuko na bumper harvest. Hakuna bumper harvest, mzalendo. Tungejua hiyo kitu 3 years ago. I am a farmer. I know it. Yes, I work in an office, but at home niko na hustle yangu ya farming. So, hata mimi kupanda mahindi siku hizi ni ngumu. Heri nipande viazi ama nipande mboga. In my 4-acre farm, I panda. Because nikipanda mahindi, siwezi ngoje ikauke. Juu najua cereal board hawatanunua. Juu wataletewa mahindi kutoka huko na kina Moses Kuria. Inapitishwa na lori huku. Inaenda mpaka cereal board. Then wanaita kwaje millers, wanaenda wanagongewa nyundo, and it is an auction. Wanaenda wanagongewa nyundo. Mahindi tunauza hivi. What are they going to do? They won't close their milling. Watachukua tu na wao waseme wacha tu struggle na shilingi 2, shilingi 3. But the one who is getting a profit, it is the cartel mwenye analeta your mahindi. So don't try and tell us that kuko na bumper harvest. There is no rain. The rain, even you should understand. You're in America. You know there is something wrong with the world. There is global warming everywhere. There are no correct rain patterns. Every time ukipanda kwa his season, mbegu inachomeka. Una expect August kutanyesha short rain. Haikuji, inakuja April. So, mzalendo, we know what we are talking about. So that's why I'm telling you. Hii maneno ya kutuambia hapa ti maneno ya bumper harvest. Hakuna. And yet na hiyo mahindi yenye tunapewa. Hiyo mahindi yenye tunanunua, we buy even in a very minimal cost. But the cartel akishika hiyo ship, ikuja mpaka idok Kilindini. Then wamwage hiyo mahindi. It is a hell on us in Kenya. We cannot afford to buy. Mtu mpaka anapikia watoto chapati wanakula kuanzia Monday mpaka Monday, because they cannot afford kununua unga ya ugali. It is too expensive. Anyway, that's my submission. Leo, support me on that.
Okay, this is what I wanted to say in regards to that, because what Raila said there was that we can have some solutions. He did not say that, he did not mean that we should not demonstrate. He said we can have solutions. And right now, people are demonstrating because the government has failed to come up with solutions. When you talk of bumper harvest, there's one thing that we need to know. In this bumper harvest, what was the cost of production? Because you cannot tell me because I've harvested 2 bags of maize, I'm supposed to sell it at 50 shillings, yet I used a lot of money to produce this maize. So that is something that we need to know. The price of unga will not go down because no farmer will start selling his maize at 50 shillings. He has to recover the cost that he used in producing this maize. So the policies that we're having are not encouraging people. There's no way Ruto is going to tell you that, okay, there's bumper harvest. If fertilizer wanasema haijawahi onekana, then at the same time, they're opening them. They're telling you that you're having bumper harvest, and they're also telling you that we've allowed people to import some sugar, rice, and whatever for the next 6 months. So does it make sense?
So
So when it comes to food,
if you see last
we
week,
just need some solution.
Last week, when you saw on the Business Daily, you saw there was a list of those people, and even there's a gazetteman, I think even I can pull it. There are people who have been given the green light to import sugar, not less than 2,000 metric tons. There are people who have been given a green light to import mahindi na mchele. So, ebu nikuulize, hiyo chakula unajua ikimportiwa, kazi yao tu ni kupackage. Hakuna tingatinga ilikanyanga shamba, na hakuna mtu alienda kalima, nini whatever. Na unajua the cost of packaging, it is cheaper than having that production ikikuwa hapa Kenya. Because for one, tingatinga ikiingia, lazima itumie diesel. Diesel silipanda. Aya, usisahau mwenye anaendesha hiyo tingatinga ni binadamu, anatakiwa alipwe. Si ndio? Haya, kuko na hiyo fertilizer imekuja. Na unajua ukilima kwa shamba, if you live in Rift Valley ama you have a big whatever, unatakiwa uwe na tingatinga inakuja safari 4 ama 5. Because for one, ita till, then the second one in a harrow. Remember per day, those days, I remember when I was paying, it was 7,000 a day. Na huyo atakuwa ameshagonga kama eka tatu. Right now, kuchukua tingatinga isimame ni 12,000 na hakuna kupembeleza. Then nani mzalendo anatuambia hapa kuko na bumper harvest. Ya wapi? Hakuna bumper harvest. We'd rather even have that food ikuje hapa, hata kama ni gava ita subsidize. They repackage that food, alafu andike government of Kenya. Mwenye anataka kuja azitoe, azirepackage, tusinunue unga more than 150.
Well said, Stella. That's why sometimes I like debating you, because you are a farmer. You've got an insight of farming. So you have enlightened us a bit about farming. But what I can inform you is that when you see government putting out a tender for people to come in and meet the deficit of food production, it means that we are not producing enough. This government has been only there for 1 year, and I believe that there are some measures that they are putting so that we can have food security. We all agree that there's been global warming, and before global warming throughout the world. After global warming, no, global warming is continuous. We had COVID that hit many parts of the world and really impacted the economy of most countries, including farming. We didn't farm the way we used to farm. Movement was restricted, and we could not sell our produce the way we used to sell them. So by and large, I think the government is doing what it should do to ensure that we have food security. Leo, people who planted during the long rains in February have harvested their maize. If you call your village or you go to your village right now, you'll find that a tin of maize is going for maybe 100. Other places are 120. A few months ago, I called home, it was going for 80 shillings. County governments have decided to buy the maize, to buy the harvest. It means that they are buying from the farmers so that they can avoid the exploitation from other people who are coming in to buy the produce. So when Stella is saying that people have not harvested, people have not had a bumper harvest, In some regions, yes, they've had a good season. In areas where I come from, they have had a very good season to an extent that the county government is coming to buy the maize so that they avoid the middlemen who are coming to purchase the maize at a lower price. So I don't know which part of the country you live in, but where I come from, we have harvested our maize. The farmers are selling it, and it is going for 100 and between 100 to 80 shillings. And to an extent, agorogoro is going for the most expensive now is about 120. So things are improving. If you go back maybe 5 months ago, 6 months ago, the same tin you'd find it for 250. So now it is 120. It means the farmers have done a good job and they have harvested their crops. The county government has even stepped in saying that, okay, fine, you guys have done the farming. We don't want people to exploit you from other regions. Let us buy your maize. So we are on the right track. If you see government wakiagiza sukari and things like that, it means that whatever we are producing in the farms as sugarcane is not enough for the population in the country. So that deficit is what the government allows politicians or other business people to bring into the country. But of course, corruption is always there in our country. So people do use those loopholes to bring excess of this produce. So I know we are doing well. We are doing so well in terms of food security, and in the next few years, issue of food will be a thing of the past. So Stella, I hope I answered your question, or I attempted to answer your question.
You've already answered.
I've already answered. Leo is telling me, yes, we can wind up the show for tonight. We have had a wonderful time. Maybe I can just say that thank you, Leo, for allowing us to be part of your panel this evening. We hope to see you again tomorrow. It has been a very, very good debate, although we veered off to some extent, but our viewers has learned something new. I've learned something about farming from Stella as usual. So Stella, thank you very much for the knowledge that you keep on pouring for the general public. And Leo, asante sana for allowing me to be part of the show. And the panelist Eric Ojuang, Erokamano, thank you for the comments. I am in touch with the village. I am in touch with everybody. The world now is flat. It is no longer round. I can call you in a second, wherever you are in any part of the world. And the internet we have got also access to the internet. So we have information of what is happening throughout the world, including the weather. So thank you, Eric. So we are informed and we are in touch of the ground. That is why we speak here with authority of what we know. Otherwise, asante sana.
Thank you so much, Mzalendo. Uh, I do appreciate, I think, for just having spared your time so that we can be able to discuss matters of our country. It's really grateful. And to Stella, I really appreciate your knowledge when it comes to matter of farming. It's really good when you debate somebody with some background information rather than having some propaganda and things that cannot be substantiated. So you make it easy for people who've never stepped in the farms to understand what is really there, so that next time when you see Zakai on top of the car telling them how there's bumper harvest, they'll be able to relate and know these are lives. How I wish my people would have gotten this message before it would have determined or maybe modified the way they would have voted. So it's really a great moment, and I know tomorrow we'll also have another show, and we'll always try to make it better each and every day. To those people who manage to watch and to comment and also to invite their friends, tell them that tomorrow, let them not miss. I will always be here, same time, same place. Eric Ojuang, asante sana. Tumemwona Stephen Komu, hata kama umekuja umechelewa, tuko unaweza ona replay, alafu kesho uhakikishe kuwa tutakuwa hapa kuanzia saa 3 usiku, that is East African time. Tumekuwa na Cornerstone Els, he've really been updating and chatting on the chat box. I don't know why people have stayed away from the chat box, but moving on, I know we'll get it back and we'll be able to discuss as Kenyans. Kubadilisha nchi yetu. I doesn't mind hata kama ni wawili watatu, lakini mwishowe tunaweza kubadilisha. It is the little things that we do here that is going to change this country, and we are going to ensure that everybody is informed, and once you are informed, the same way the Bible says, my people suffer because they lack knowledge. So if we can be able to give them that knowledge, so on behalf of the panel,
Leo, the glitches are letting you down. Stella, maybe you can just wind up. Leo has really hung up.
Oh, okay. I think he's back.
Leo, are you back? No, he's frozen.
Anyway, I've enjoyed the talk, so we can see each other tomorrow. And thank you for those guys who've commented and participated in the chat box. Let's see each other tomorrow, so we can have another what do you call, another hot talk.
All right, I think we are done today. For the show today, Stephen Komo, asante sana. Eric, asante sana once again. Cornerstone, kama kawaida, you've always been, backing us up in the chat section. We love your insight on the issue. Bashir Chelagat, you are here with us earlier. You didn't continue with the comment, but we needed to follow up the show and know where we are coming from with this kind of conversation. Favor Kenyans are full of burdened by KK government. I agree with you. Kenyans are overburdened by the taxes. Stella also concurs with you that we are overburdened and there is need, and that's why we talk here. You'd be surprised that the issues that we talk about here are implemented in Parliament. We don't only stop here, we contact the legislators and see whether they can do some changes and reduce the taxes. So that's why we have this conversation on a daily basis. Sometimes we are off. When there is an issue, we'll keep you posted. You have been such a wonderful company, guys, on the chat box. And our viewers outside there, you are the guys who are keeping the show going. Ensure that you subscribe to True TV 24. Go to YouTube and subscribe to True TV 24. We are also on Leo TV. Leo will be bringing you talk shows that are one-on-one on this particular channel. We also want you to continue subscribing to Mtembei TV. That is the platform that we air our political views and anything that is pressing. If you are a listener or a viewer out there and you want to participate in this particular show, please just holler, tupigie simu, ingia kwa mtandao, utuambie if you've got something that you want to share, if you've got an idea that can help the youths outside there, then come to the show, talk about it. This platform is viewed by over 20 million people. So come and share your view. We will ensure that the message is taken out there. So don't shy away. I've been your host or part of the panelists, Mzalendo, and Leo. Mise left a bit earlier. Thank you, Mise, for being part of the show. And the one and only Ellie, The author was also here at some point, but today he was a bit engaged, so tomorrow we hope to see him. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to close the show right now and see you tomorrow. Asanteni sana na mbarikiwe.